You said it's meant to be, but it's not you, it's me. You're leaving now for my own good. That's cool, but if my friends ask where you are, I'm gonna say went down in an airplane, fried getting suntan, fell in a cement mixer full of quicksand. I'm no good at goodbyes. She met a shark underwater, fell in, no one caught her. I return everything I ever bought her. I'm all out of lies and ways to say you died. My pride still feels the sting. You were my everything. Someday I'll find a love like you. Yeah, love like yours. She'll think I'm Superman, not Superman even. How could you leave unlockable? But if my friends ask where you are, I'm gonna say she was caught in a mudslide, eaten by a lion, got run over by a crappy purple scion. I'm no good at goodbyes. She dried up in the desert, drowned in hot tub, danced to death at an Eastside nightclub. I'm all out of lies and ways to say you died. Wanna live 1,000 lives with you. Wanna be the one you're dying to love, but you don't want to. That's cool, but if my friends ask where you are, I'm gonna say that's cool, but if my friends ask where you are, I'm gonna say we went down in an airplane, fried getting sidetracked, trying to see my mixer full of quicksand. I'm no good at goodbyes. Met a shark underwater, fell in, no one caught her. I returned everything I ever bought her. I'm all out of lies and ways to say you died.
What is up, everyone? Long time no see. Of course, when I go live, my Wi Fi is going to get all janky. I'm going to scroll up and say hello to everyone. Wasn't that song awesome? Let me tell you who that was. That was my friend Trixie's son singing that song. And they have a few other songs up on their channel, so go check them out, give them some thumbs up, and the kids got talent. That's one of my favorite songs, and they nailed it. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. Hello, Curiosity, my favorite green fuzzy butt Grinch, Victoria, Jenny. How are you enjoying this heat, Jenny? It's super hot. It's exactly 100 degrees here today, but it feels like about 150. I'm ready for the fall. I'm ready for leggings and boots and flannel shirts and all things cozy. I'm not a pumpkin spice kind of girl, so I can do without that. Hello, Dodie, Bama, Alabama girl, that girl 77, mom of two. Hello, Jimbo, Jackie Blue. Hey, Tawanda, so good to see you. Let's see. Penny Positive, Skunk 8 Mysteries, Kentucky. Let's see. I don't want to miss anyone. Purple Rainstorm, hello.com. Okay. If I missed anyone, I apologize. I was scrolling through kind of quick. Daisy Joe, hello. My other twins. And if you know about this, you know. So, it's been about 3 weeks since I went live. I think the last time I went live was my little rant about Tiffany, and I gotta tell you, she's still at it. That's probably going to be the only name that I say in here. We're gonna do this a little bit differently today. Mods, and I know people have been complaining about who my mods are. So let me tell you a little story. There is a reason that each and every person that has a wrench on my channel has it. Some people are because they've been with me since the beginning. Some people are because I like their modding style. Some people have wrenches because they get blocked if they don't. Um, okay, Night Stalker, when you're done cleaning out your closet, you can come clean out mine. I have one that I started a few weeks ago, and it's just, ugh, it's my headache closet. But I don't want any creator names in the chat. We're going to chit chat about a few things, some stuff that's going on. There's always something going on. And then we're just going to kind of look at everything in like a vague kind of way. If anyone is wondering what the title means, I didn't want to translate it for anyone ahead of time. Some people might have Googled it. The title is It's Them, Not Us. Because I've heard a lot of that going on lately. And if you've noticed throughout the week, I've been posting quotes about a couple of different topics. And the purpose for those was I was so exhausted mentally after the last live I did, because it's one thing when you're like criticizing just some random person. It's another one when you have to like go for the throat of someone that you once considered a friend. It is because of that experience that I have the boundaries set up for myself that I do. And some of the best advice I ever got before I started my channel, someone told me, have fun with it, but be careful. Um, don't get overly involved. You know, you can only do so much from your location. You know, just guard yourself, basically. And I kind of got sucked into a certain group of people, and it drained the life out of me. And I'll just never do it again. That doesn't mean that I don't, like, I'm just cold and, rude to people, because I'm definitely not that. I'm one of the easiest people to get along with until I'm not. And I do have people. Oh, Trixie, you missed it. I'm going to play another song of theirs at the end, but everybody liked it. I know my son loves it. He likes that kind of, I don't know what it's called. It's growly music is what I call it, but he loves that. So it's right up his alley. Um, but yeah, I do have people, that I've gotten to know over the little over 2 years I've been here, and I'm friendly with them. I don't talk to a ton of people outside of YouTube, but I enjoy people being able to come in my chat and get along. Like I really want that for you guys, because I'm not super busy on my channel. This is like just a fun hobby for me. I have enough going on in my real life that this isn't my full-time jam. And that gives me a lot of time to really take a step back and kind of look at things as an outsider looking in. And it's a hot freaking mess around here. I can find good in just about everyone. That doesn't mean that because I go to a certain chat or I get along with someone that I agree with everything they do. I'll never agree with everything that everyone does. That's just impossible. But what I do try to do, I always try to take the approach of understanding before judgment. And that's because on one of the posts I made, I said that we're all flawed by design. We were created that way. We were all created to have flaws in us, and we're all going to make mistakes and we're all going to fall on our asses. It's what we do with those mistakes, what we learn from them, and how we move forward. Hello, Andy Stoner and Queen Ashley. So good to see you. Um, that really defines us as a person. It defines our character, and we're not going to get it right every single time. The issues that a lot of people have with others, I try not to make those my issues. Honestly, if everyone wants to rip each other's throats out, more power to you. That doesn't mean, though, that, if I have a friend who's hurting or who feels like they've been wronged or just needs to vent or cry or scream or do whatever, I will definitely be there for that person when they need me. Um, but dear Lord, like, is this what it's come to? Because it's to the point now where I feel like some people don't even remember where the fight started or how it happened. Um, I love how you're up front with me when you don't disagree. And I try to be. Like, I try to be in the most gentle way possible. Be like, look, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that a lot of things that are being said and done probably aren't the best idea. And it's not about this being, well, they did this, so they're going to do this. That doesn't matter. What they do and they did and they say doesn't matter. You know what matters? You know what you can control? You control you and what you say and how you react. And I know a lot of people say, well, I don't care what people think about me and blah, blah, blah. Well, yes, we all do. As humans, there is always going to be some percentage of us, no matter how big or small, that cares what people think. Like, you have to, right? You have to care what people think. When you get up and you get all dressed up because you're going out for a date night or whatever, you care. You care what your husband, your wife, your significant other, your partner, you care what someone thinks. You want them to think that you look good when you are out for a night on the town and you're drinking, you cut yourself off. If you care what people think, if you're going to be a sloppy drunk stumbling down the sidewalk, we all care to some degree what people think about us. And you have to care what people think about the things that you do. And there's been, and I'm not just talking about in just this community or these two community or whatever, what even constitutes a community anymore, honestly. But I'm a part of other areas of YouTube. I'm big into the crafting circle. I am in true crime. And it happens all over. Like, this is not the only little area where it's just like a battlefield each and every day. So what I try to do, because trust me, I've had to take a few like mental health breaks. It gets so, it weighs heavy on you when you see people hurting, and people will always act tough in front of the camera. That's just their way of dealing with things. And people will lie. People will lie about the reason they do things or what they do. They'll lie, deny, and then that just snowballs. What I have come to realize is there's usually two reasons that people lie. They lie because they're embarrassed or ashamed of a mistake that they've made, or a choice or a decision, that it's not their proudest moment. Or people lie because they don't want to deal with the consequences. So when I hear someone saying something that shit just doesn't sound right, I always try to analyze and figure out, okay, why is this person lying about this? Is it because they're ashamed, or is it because they just don't want to be called out? When I really dig in and try to get a better understanding of why that person's doing or saying something or reacting a certain way, it helps mold my reaction to that. Because if I can look at them as a human being for a minute, then I have a better grasp on the situation. Now, there's been a lot of poor decisions made um, by creators lately. Uh, I'm not going to say too much about it because it's beating a dead horse at this point, but the whole autopsy photos behind a paywall was probably one of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen. Um, Everyone says that they're curious and they would want to see and things like that, but nobody is really ever prepared for having to live with that vision for the rest of your life. That was tacky as fuck. It was completely disrespectful to that child's family. A little backstory: the very first panel I ever did was on a channel who has grown exponentially since I was on that panel. It was Crime Stories Obsessed, and I was on a panel with Zap Girl and with Doug. And we know how well YouTube worked out for Doug, but that's just something I'm not even going to get into because he's just kind of creepy. Hey, Yin Yang and Linda Fontaine, you snuck in here. Good to have you. Um, and I remember in that panel, and it was kind of just to discuss how we felt about the Wells and their involvement and just them in general involving Summer's case. That girl didn't say much. She just she would interject a little bit, but not really. And then when there was negative backlash about that panel, she kind of wiped her hands and was like, well, I wasn't even a part of it. If you see, I didn't even say anything. No, girl, you sat there on that panel with all of us. So go ahead and take the heat, because if you didn't agree with something that was said, you didn't speak up then either. So, yes, that's nasty. You guys, when you're given or when you FOIA a case file and you have pictures in your possession, you need to think long and hard before you release those pictures, how you release those pictures, and really consider the reason behind it. I'm not buying the whole educational tool in that instance because it's a closed case. What those photos show, we no longer need to learn about. He got justice. Let the child rest. I feel so bad for his dad and other relatives that have to stumble upon that, because just because she released it on Patreon, it's not going to stay there. We all know this. So that's really all I have to say about that. That leads up to a crime scene photo that was released on someone's channel yesterday. We all know who that was. For the love of peanut butter and jelly, if you're going to put crime scene photos out, please make sure that the victim is not visible in the pictures. That was just careless. I don't know if you intended to post that picture, But that was awful. And just glancing through the pictures, you don't notice it at first. It was pointed out to me, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. It was awful. There again, it's another situation where, one, there's still a door wide open for someone else to be prosecuted for that. So, those are things of evidentiary value. If you're sitting here pulling for someone to get a new trial, those are not really the kind of things you need to be putting out into the universe. Again, have some respect for that man's family. I get it. Everyone's been talking about the trial again recently. There's some new people that didn't know anything about it, and so they're just catching up. But that was just, I don't know if it was for like shock value or for you to like dangle a carrot and say, look at what all I have. That one picture is where I have my issue. Like, that was just a no no. Um, Someone has come back onto the scene, in my opinion, as full of himself as ever. I know it's a big joke about, he's in the Discord, and I see people like, you know, kind of supporting it, and it is what it is. People are always going to sneak in Discords. It sucks. Children, a group chat on Facebook, people are proud of their children, and they share pictures. I know I'm probably roboting. They share pictures, they share like events, like, oh, hey, my kid won an award, and like with Trixie, she shared her son's song in the Discord, and that are making all these smart ass comments about it now are the very same people who were pissed off and complaining about it before, and who felt like they were violated in some way. I know, Dodie, I keep breaking up. It's this freaking weather. Um, and, you know, I feel like all the real issues at hand are being clouded with nonsense, with stuff that really doesn't matter. Everyone knows every action is going to get a reaction. You have to build out this on myself. And there's another person who is like really pushing this, going to authorities every week and filing every time someone hurts their feelings or they get pissed off, that they can just run and go file charges. I don't mean to burst your bubble. It's probably not going to happen. And I've said this before. There's no resources, there's no time, there's no manpower for petty stuff like this. As big as some of these things are to us, it's not that law enforcement or authorities don't care. It's just that they're not going to do anything about it. You're dealing with different locations, just a hassle. So we have to be responsible for our actions. If you're going to go out here sticking your hand in the middle of everything and get involved, be prepared. Hard for me to ever believe a person that can come tell stuff on pranks just to get parents could ever have a good heart. Right. There's been an uptick of people's families and children being brought into stuff. And I mean, I don't agree with that. I just don't. I feel like, what happens on YouTube stays on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, if there is someone that is just doing extreme harm to people and subscribers or viewers are completely unaware, yeah, bring attention to it. But when does it stop? When does it ever become enough? I had made a comment in a chat the other day. Hey, Kara. Hey, E Squareds, Lady R, Jane J, and anyone else who's just coming in. I made a comment in a chat the other day about, can everyone just get to a point of just, you know, wiping their hands and being done? Like, if you don't like someone, just stay away from them. Can everyone just take the needle off the record, reset, and then move forward differently? And, some people were in favor of that. Other people were like, well, I can do that, but there's certain people I can't start over with. And I don't necessarily mean starting over with someone. I mean moving forward and just being done. When you put a label to it and you call it a truce, that makes it a bigger deal than what it actually is. It's just stop. Like, can people just do that? Because from what there's a lot of people that are being hurt, right? Some of this shit cuts to the core. And I know that there's times where I feel bad for people for the things that they're going through. It sucks. Now, there's other people that I don't feel so bad for because those things throughout the last year, 2 years that haven't made sense, those are still in the back of my mind. And when more things that don't make sense just keep getting piled on, it makes it a little hard for me to be as empathetic with that person. Does that mean that the person is just completely a fiction? In a lot of areas in their life. And I did a live trying to help that person and give them advice, but now it's turned into no, that never happened. Everybody was lying. I didn't do anything wrong. Well, yeah, you kind of did a little something wrong. And now it's come out there's a situation that no one is supposed to talk about, but it involves kind of being a beggar and expecting someone to give you something every day. I'm not going to say much about it. Process of elimination kind of points me in a direction of who I think it could be, but that's between them. And I would hope that there's not any truth to that, because if there is, and you're telling someone that they have to give you something or you're going to do this, well, that just makes you a crap person in that situation. That's on you. Um, there's so many people, but I'm just going to let everyone know right now I go where I want. And I know that people look at, and then everyone, no, that's not what happened. It's not about who's chat. No, I was treated horribly, and no, because all of the things that you're complaining about now, you were right there along with it before. I'm not going to tell you everything that goes on in the discords that I'm a part of. I can tell you that there's not as much plotting and planning as everyone thinks. I know that there was a situation yesterday. It just turned into what some people thought was a comedy show. And, I got mixed feelings about that too. This is YouTube. And when this shit starts spilling over to where people's families and people are doing things that they wouldn't normally do because they're just pushed to the limit of, like, it gets to a point where people are going to explode. They are going to do things that they wouldn't normally have such a strong reaction. So maybe if everyone could stop being like, well, it's them, not us, or not me, look at yourself. There was some quotes that I put that were about self-reflection. And every day I try to make a conscious effort to acknowledge how I treat people. Um, I don't know. Like, I want to be a good person. Does that mean people don't piss me off? Oh, yeah, people piss me off. But is it something that I can go to bed and wake up and not care about the next day? Like, I weigh everything. I'm a very analytical thinker. I can't help it. So, one of the quotes I put was, the journey into self love and self acceptance must begin with self examination. Until you take the journey of self reflection, it's almost impossible to grow or learn in life. And what that basically means to me, now, everyone, I think you get a different perspective about something. Like, something I might comprehend as one thing, you might comprehend as something else. But to me, what that means is exactly what I just said. I look at my behaviors, my reactions, the things I say, the things I do. And if I've fallen short, then I try to do better the next time. And I think it's important for everyone to do that, especially when you're in situations that are high stress or that are just emotionally draining. Check yourself before you try to check other people, because sometimes we're just completely neurotic in the way we're reacting and we're getting all worked up for nothing. Another quote: love your enemies for they tell you your faults. That's pretty self explanatory. If you have a falling out with someone, it is okay to just fall out and not talk to each other anymore. You don't have to go out of your way to have conflict with that person, because if you keep poking and pushing those boundaries and instigating things, they're going to tell everything about you. Just be nice, or just don't be anything at all. And I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm just sharing with you guys the things I've been thinking of on this last 3 weeks that I haven't really been around much. Another good quote: life has a tendency to provide a person with what they need in order to grow. Our beliefs, what we value in life, provide the roadmap for the type of life that we experience. A period of personal unhappiness reveals that our values are misplaced and we are on the wrong path. Unless a person changes their values and ideas, they will continue to experience discontentment. And that one is so true, because I believe that everyone comes into each other's life for a reason. I feel that we go through certain things in order to shape us for something bigger in the future. I feel like for me, it's important for me to pay attention to those people and experiences and the things I gather from each one, because it's going to shape me in the future. It's either going to have a negative impact on me or it's going to make me stronger. I'm going to learn something from it. So that's kind of what that one means. And the experiences you have in life, don't take those for granted. Even the bad ones that you go through, appreciate every moment of it. It might be tough at the time, but even at your worst, you're stronger than you think you are. Yes, Kara, kindness does matter. Now, this one kind of goes along with just what I've been seeing going on. Be a free thinker and don't accept everything you hear as truth. Be critical and evaluate what you believe in. And that one just rings so true, I think, for everyone. I think that a lot of people feel like they have to agree with the masses. And I won't necessarily say it's out of fear of any particular person because that's just silly to me. I think it's more of out of fear of not wanting to be made to feel bad, like to not want to have someone to tell you no, you're wrong in thinking that, or to minimize or discredit what you think or feel. I mean, this really is just one big group effort, right? Like, this YouTube is going to be what we make of it. And I've made a lot of good friends and good acquaintances from all over, not from just one particular area, but there are chats that I, out of respect for just out of respect for the creator, in the sense that I know what it's like to get up here and try to stay on topic and keep it moving. And I don't want to be the one that causes issues in someone's chat. I really don't. It doesn't matter how I feel about them or how I feel about whatever they're talking about. There are some chats that I know if I go into them, someone's going to say, "You're in the wrong place." And no, I'm in the right place, because whether or not I speak up in someone's chat, I mean, let's be honest, I'm still there supporting. I want to hear what everyone has to say, because it's all of those things combined that help me form my conclusion and my thoughts and my feelings. Now, not everything's that deep or that serious. You have to learn to choose your battles. And for the love of God, don't. There's some people that just kind of ride on the coattails of topics and other people just to have something to talk about. But if you're not really adding anything to it, move it along and do the things that you've talked about doing. Do the cases that you've talked about doing. Before you do that, though, get with me, because I'm going to tell you what you need to put into researching a case, because it's a lot more than just pulling up an article and whisper reading it to everyone. There's just a lot more that goes into it. But if something's not working for you, instead of going around and complaining everywhere to anyone who will listen about how it's not working, you have a responsibility to do something to make your situation different, if that makes sense. It's okay, Ashley, if you're working. We all gotta work, right? Lady R, haven't seen you in forever. I want to try to catch some comments. Andy Stoner, I try and conduct myself each day that I can, still look at myself in the mirror without disgust. One of some of what I'm seeing, not sure how some can even sleep at night. I totally agree. There's some things that happen that I know if I were to do those things, I would feel bad. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. And I am not perfect by exact to get me to like a point of just lashing out. But once I get there, it's kind of hard to reel it back in. Yes, you definitely do not have to go telling private conversations. That's the worst and the dirtiest. And I pray some are learning through others' mistakes and save themselves a lot of pain. Yeah, just be mindful. Know that whatever you say to someone on a conversation, just know that there's a 50-50 chance that everyone else is going to know about it eventually. Kara, been off for a while but got sucked into the Portland, Oregon. I know, that's crazy. It's not common. Goes back with me for a while, and she's one of the only ones out of a handful of people that, like, she hasn't wavered with me. Like some of my other mods who, because I wouldn't kick someone out when they wanted me to, or things like that. They thought I wasn't paying enough attention to them. I don't know what it was, but all it took was someone to get pissed off at me and they no longer talk to me. And you know what? That's fine. They can go be where they're at. I wish them well, but I get to a point where I'm done too, and that's it. I too. Let's see. Can look over a lot of things, but there are certain lines. If I see some cross, you can never come back from that because it takes a special kind of messed up to even go there. There are a lot of things you can't come back from. The internet is forever. We all know it. We all say it. Once something's out here, it's out here. And you have to remember that people do have occupations, they do have families, they have children, they have friends who, they stumble across stuff, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, everyone has their way of doing things, right? We don't all have to agree with. You have to figure out what works for you and what role you want to play in any of it. Because if you're involved in the shenanigans, out, you can't go blaming all the people who are still doing it because you were involved in it too. And a lot of these people that are saying that they were treated so poorly. Now, I'm not privy to all the private conversations. I don't have a wrench anywhere anymore. And it was probably one of the most peaceful decisions I've ever made for myself because at one time I had a whole pocket full of wrenches, and that is stressful. Because when there are people that have conflicts, then if you hold a wrench on that channel, then you're automatically lumped in. There's lots of people whining and crying and saying that they get lumped in with stuff and put on lists and this and that. Well, y'all are lumping people in too. There's been a few chats where I flat out felt like I was getting lumped into some bullshit just because I want to watch a certain channel. This is America. Just because I listen to something that maybe you don't like or you don't agree with, that's not the scarlet letter. I've heard people say and seen people say that they want to come watch me, they want to support me, but because I like someone else, they can't. Well, no, I want people here that like me for me. I want people here that want to hear what I have to say, not because who I associate with. You don't have to like everyone I like. All I expect from people is while you're here in my little YouTube house, that you're respectful of the people in my chat and you're respectful of my rules. I don't have many. Really, the only one is don't be an asshole. Like Lady R, she's been around. I've known her for a while. We met in a completely different little area. Yes, Linda Fontaine. The autopsy pictures. Oh, my dog. Yes, I was talking about Zav Girl. Hey, Judah, come on, buddy. Um, but the crime scene photo, that was a different creator. It has to do with the Shelby Shell trial. Um, I'll go ahead and say it was on Not Today's channel. She posted a 9-minute video yesterday with some of the crime scene photos, and one of them that she posted still had Ronnie King in the picture. Maybe she didn't notice. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, but I kind of think she did know because she's looked at those pictures so many times that she had to know that that was in there, and I just thought that was very distasteful, especially when you're presenting yourself to be this professional who's going to get a new trial and all that, which is not going to happen. I mean, he confessed. Get over it. Yes, Lady R says people deserve to know what to watch out for before it happens to them. Yes. Now, like with the only time I've ever really been scammed on YouTube as far as like money goes was with crafting through the lies. Like, and she didn't get me for much. Like, I don't have a lot of money. She got me for like $15, which she could have refunded that because she said she returned all the money to everyone. She didn't return mine. Um, but people get up here and they share about things going on in their life, and then everyone says, "Oh, well, they're e-begging or they're scamming or doing this." Well, a lot of the situations where I've heard people say it was a scam, it's really not. But here's the way I see it. If you can feel compelled to give your money to someone, once that money leaves your hands, it's between that person and God if they do the right thing with that money. Um, you did what you wanted to do, what you thought was right. Um, a lot of people find joy in being able to give to others. And in the long run, if it ends up being a scam, it'll come out in the wash. But just know that before you give your dollars away, that there's a possibility, no matter who it is, that they're not being honest about what they need that money for. If you're aware of that going into it, then you're making an informed decision. If you choose to still give your money, then I wish you the best. But at what point, is enough enough? How many times can we keep talking about the same scam? Or, it gets old. YouTube used to be kind of fun. Like, it really did. Everyone would get along. I mean, you would always have your smart asses and your trolls, and I don't know. Trolling now is not what trolling was 2 years ago. I'll put it that way. Exactly. Anyone you choose to give to, you're taking a chance. Not my money, not my business. Oh, John Cena, hope you feel better. Hey, Graham. Oh, hey, Dutchie. I was wrong. I do have a wrench on Dutchie's channel still. But you know what? I know what she expects, and I feel comfortable modding for her. I can't be there all the time, but it's a relaxing mod job. Oh, kidney stones are no fun, John Cena. Yes. Praying for you. They hurt. Behind green eyes, she didn't return your money either. What'd she do with all that money? Or that's what people said, really. Andy. Certain groups these days where they got Twilight music or something going on in their heads when they go live and playing out a movie going after another group. Puke. Like, I'm all for. Come on, Judah. I'm all for people who have had issues with each other mending those fences, or at least coming to like a point where they can agree to disagree. But it's gotten so cutthroat lately. Like, it really has. And that's hard. That's hard for someone who really tries to just stay out of all of it. Um, like, a lot of the problems that people have had with each other, they've had them for a while. It didn't involve me in the beginning. It didn't involve me now. I don't go talking crap about people and stirring up a bunch of drama in people's chats. I'm not a carrier pigeon that carries misinformation back and forth all over the place just to get stuff going. I mean, I've seen some whoppers in some of these chats. And, oh, we'll have fun in the pool. Um, some of the stuff, like I can literally be in the same chat with someone and then that live ends and then the next chat we end up in together, it's like a completely edited version of what just happened. Like the details and stuff that they add to it. Ay, ay, ay. Right, to keep it because crisis was over. The money I couldn't return, I paid it forward. Hey, Mystery Sky. Yes, Behind Green Eyes has been doing great. Like, and it's not necessarily the content. Like, I suck at like making videos. I'll just say it. I haven't put a lot of time and effort into teaching myself how to do all this stuff. I basically just hit the button and babble. Kara says, I remember some horrific things done to others back a couple years ago, and then now they act like it never happened. It's weird, and I see no respect for oneself. Creator, because she has, like, you know, she's been put through the ringer, and for a lot of good reason. Questionable. But then they just like keep going back, and sticking their hand on the burner. And then there's the people that take no accountability. It's just, like, united we stand, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, I go where I want, but if the subject changes to someone I care for and support, I just bow out. Yeah, and that's kind of what you got to do in any chat. I do that, and like let's say I'm watching a craft video. If there's something that it just doesn't look interesting to me, it sucks to know, like, when you hear someone telling a story about something and for, and I see a lot of people in chat saying, it's just ridiculous. It's too much. YouTube shouldn't be this hard. I know I'm roboting. No, it's my stupid Wi-Fi. We have a lot of strong winds right now, and I'm in the middle of a bunch of trees. So the moral of the story is check yourself before you go checking other people. If you're not on the right side of wrong, then does anything else really matter? Set boundaries for yourself. I can't say that enough. You know what you can handle. Be true to yourself. Um, don't don't push your beliefs and what you think is right down inside and ignore it because you want to make someone else happy. Because in the end, you're going to end up miserable. Give people a chance. Not everything has to be handled on a live. It really doesn't. If people had friendships and relationships and they felt comfortable talking outside of YouTube when they were getting along, then you can still suck it up and have that conversation behind the scenes when maybe you don't agree with stuff. I find that if you try to handle everything as a group effort, it's all going to turn to shit because then you have all these opinions. You thought it was check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what's going to happen. When you have all these other opinions getting inserted and thrown into the mix, it kind of makes it hard for you really to stay on your course. Be prepared that there's gonna be bad times. Um, Everyone likes to embellish their stories, but is there's a fine line between embellishment and exaggeration, and an even finer line between an exaggeration and just a flat out lie. If you feel like you were wronged by someone, talk to them about it. Because if you're just out there gathering stragglers along with you to, form this one big general opinion against someone, then that's not cool either. There's a lot of people around. There's more people around here that I like than that I don't like. Even the people that I don't really care for, or they're just not my cup of tea, or we don't have much in common, I'm still nice to people. Let's see. I want to go back to that one because it was a good one. To everyone, who you are is okay. You matter. Go all the places. If you disagree with someone, watch it twice. Try to apply it to your own thoughts. You don't have to agree to get something from it. You absolutely don't. No one will ever agree on everything. And to say that you will, that's just nonsense. It can't be. Also, tip your channel is trying to get monetized. You do have to do the most to hurry and get subs and views because some that wild and faulty stuff will stay with you later and when you want to change. Yes, everyone should know by now that everything they say or do on YouTube is going to be there. You might delete it 100 times. It's still going to be there. And if you're wrong, admit when you're wrong. I just want everyone to know that they'll always have a place here. And even if they don't get along with someone, that block button that we had back in the day where we could personally block people, that button still works. If you're not going to block that person, but you're constantly screaming about the stuff they say to you and things like that, that's your fault for getting in a tizzy about it because you can block them and you don't have to see it. But for all the people that have stuck it out with me for this 2 years, I appreciate it. I'm greatly appreciative of every sub I have, of every view I get. I might even monetize again. I could have monetized again months ago. But like I said, I just don't put that much into my channel. I don't go live all the time. You know, honestly, I am more of a viewer just like everyone else than I am a creator. Like, I'm going to get back into doing more cases. I have some that I'm working on now. Because of my knack for looking into cases and for the things that I've learned, um, the career I'm going to have one day, I have to look at things a certain way. I can't just go with the emotional, you know, the first emotion that crosses me. I have to look at it for what it is. Do it. Do what? Go back into cases? I will. I just like to hang out with everyone. I like people to just, if it could be smooth sailing for everyone all of the time, that would be great. But I'm not so naive that I think that's going to happen. But we can only control ourselves. Everyone has to quit trying to control each other. Well, thank you, Jimbo. Yes, back to cases and fun. And sometimes it's fun to get on here and cut up and giggle and, don't get me wrong, there's times I like to criticize people too. Sometimes people drive me nuts. But usually when they drive me nuts like that, it's because I've seen a different side of them. I've seen how they were in a different arena. And now that they're somewhere else, who they are now is not matching up to who they once were. So you got to kind of question which one's the real one. Do people get tired of stuff and, get fed up? Yes, that happens too. But you can be fed up and not be a jackass. I appreciate you chasing your easygoing, you keep it 100 and have a heart of gold. Thank you, Dutchie. I try. I really do try. It's Kemper's fault. I don't ever want to control one, Andy says. Sometimes I beg the Lord to send good folk around me to help lead me and give me good direction, etc. And that's true. Like, I truly believe, like I said, that everyone comes into each other's life for a reason. You can learn stuff from everyone, even if it's, if someone is put in your path because something associated with them is going to cause you to have a downfall. That's a reason right there. Fed up taking my toys and going home. Yes, criticizing everyone for attention. Like, I know there's some people in here that like this creator, and that's fine. But when you're like nitpicking stuff, okay, and the situation I'm talking about has nothing to do with what's going on with any of the people, in this, the majority of the people that are here today. This is a completely different group. It revolves around a missing child case. Like, enough's enough. Okay, now it's to the point where you're going over nonsense and nothing has ever come to fruition. Nothing really has ever been proven. It's just to the point now where it's just a confusing clusterfuck and it's stupid. And it's simply being done for the sake of ruining someone's name. Like, enough is enough with the conspiracies and the mathing and trying to figure out this and that, especially when you were right there promoting the crap out of that marathon. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Yes, digging up crap that means nothing. And it goes on for hours and hours and hours at a time. And it's not just one day a week, it's every freaking day this week for hours. And to dig up all that stuff and talk about it for hours, they spend twice as many hours trying to scrap it all together. water more than the top layer. But as far as growing anything around here this summer, yeah, that's not happening. It is so dry and hot around here. The only thing that's done good this year, I have peppermint that I put in my sweet tea, and that's the only thing that grows. But everyone who is going through some stuff on here, keep your head up. It can get better and it can get worse. Sometimes you just have to check yourself and see how you react to things. It's hard. It's hard because even when you're not reacting to something, people are still poking. It's okay, Erica. We're getting ready to wrap up. I don't want to keep everyone long. I just wanted to have a chit chat and just let you guys know, if you don't like me, it's okay. If you don't want me in your chat, it's okay. I won't hold it against you. I'm probably still going to be there. You just won't see me. Even when people are talking about just nonsense and stuff, like, I just love to listen to people talk. So, because they might spew 3 hours worth of BS, but there might be 5 minutes in there, and it's those 5 minutes you got to look for. I am going to cover some cases, Trixie. There's a missing girl in my area that, I keep trying to get in touch with her family. We play a lot of phone tag, and they're just having a really hard time. She's been missing. It was a year in March. Yeah, a year in March. And she just disappeared into thin air. They haven't found her vehicle or anything. And speaking of missing people, how does everyone feel about that Carly girl? Like, what the hell? Did she not realize that they were going to have the CCTV from the highways? I mean, all highways and interstates just about have CCTV now. I haven't really gotten too deep into it. I've listened to a few different channels about that, but to fake a kidnapping because you want to get back at your boyfriend for cheating on you, like, that's so weird to me. I've heard of, like, girls and guys making up extreme stuff to, kind of make someone care enough to stay in your life. Because to me, what it sounds like is, her boyfriend cheated on her, and maybe was losing interest in her, so she didn't feel bad for her that would keep him around. Well, obviously that's not going to turn out good. Like, let's just say that she was able to get away with it longer. Like, there would come a day where he would find out about it. It's just, people do the strangest things. There's like some really off balance people in this world and evil people in this world. Like, there has just been so many stories of parents and caregivers hurting their children, and it just blows my mind. So it's interesting to see where that story goes, because it seems like her parents are really going to back her up on this, And that's unfortunate because they need to get her some help. Yes, Grinch, watch out for chiggers. Chiggers are the worst. If you do get chiggers, clear nail polish. That works pretty well. Watch the press conference from the other day. The police said she didn't have mental illness. I live close to there, And I'm pissed that all those resources were used when they didn't need to be. Yes, that is like one of my pet peeves is wasted resources. Because of the internships I've done, I've seen firsthand where law enforcement is spread thin, or when you have multiple um, suspicious deaths come in at one time. There's only you only have so many people to work with. So, and then when it comes to situations like with child services, think long and hard before you call CPS or DCFS on people, because if you're calling on someone to get back at them or just to interfere for a selfish reason, take a minute and consider that child who may really need someone to come into their home and intervene for them. And they can't do that if they're at someone else's house over something ridiculous. As adults, just about every state requires any adult to be a mandated reporter. Plus, it's just the right thing to do if you see that there is truly a need. I'm a little ticked off because there was a situation where a classmate told one of my children that something had happened to them at home, and I did what needed to be done. I made the call and reported it, because had I not made that call and there was something going on, I couldn't live with myself. Um, what I was told was going on definitely justified the call. They told me that they took all the information and told me that they would pass it along because I made the call on the weekend. Within a few days, I got a letter and said it would not be investigated because it did not meet the criteria. And it blew my mind. So I have since made a follow-up call because I cannot for the life of me figure out why what I told them would not meet the criteria to investigate further. It could be that it didn't meet the criteria because they don't have enough staff. So it is a Friday. We've gone a little over an hour. I know that things usually start popping off on Fridays. Um, so we're going to go ahead and end it here. The next time I go live, we will be talking about a case. I'm not going to tell you which one. And I am going to play another song from Trixie's son and his band. They do an amazing job. So I'm going to take you guys out with some music, and happy Friday, everyone. Make sure you loved your loved ones. Let someone know that you care. You never know if tomorrow is going to come. And remember that everything starts with self-reflection. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Distant eyes, they see nothing. Hold on to your words, they won't shield you from the light. That's your pacified victim. Through all of the suffering, I can see it's too late. And all of these memories seem too weak. It's not there. Does it always hurt like this to feel nothing? Crawl inside your mind. You won't make it out this time. Through all the suffering, I can see it's too late. And all of these memories seem too weak. It's not great. Is it supposed to feel like this? It's so late. Maybe it's something that I missed, but I can't say. Are you better? All of the suffering I can see, it's too late. And all of these memories seem too weak. It's not fair. Through all of the suffering I can see.